Video for another week of new designs, and this week we are starting our fall and slowly we're moving into adding some Christmas wreaths to 2024. So I know some of you might be thinking, it's August, why are we pushing fall and Halloween and all of the things? Because when you are a small business that deals with retail, home decor, and holiday decor, you basically want to make sure that you have your items in your shop about 3 months before shoppers are actually when we're in that season. So if you think about it, it's August, September, October, November, right? Perfect for fall. That's what we're supposed to technically be doing. And for those customers that are a little aggressive on their shopping and like to get things done early, they like the ability to have have items for them to be able to purchase in the shop so that they're way ahead of the game. They don't have to do it towards the end of the year. So we are doing fall today. I put out a little teaser on my Facebook page. So if you guys are following me on Facebook, you got to see a little bit of the preview. Also, those of you that are on Instagram, you get to see the little preview. It's kind of hard because you can't post on YouTube unless you're posting a video. So YouTube subscribers that are watching this is an earlier Facebook Live. So if you want to join the actual live, go to my Facebook page under Cats Creations Wreaths, and every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and every Thursday at 11 Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's hard to do the math in my head. You'll be able to catch me live. We can chat. You can ask me questions about anything that we're working on or what we're doing. So if you want to save this tutorial, Facebook users, just click the share button. It'll take this video, share it to your Facebook page. Super easy to find that way. YouTube subscribers, just click the save button and that will save that to your YouTube account. Also, if you want to be notified when I go live, Facebook subscribers, make sure that you have liked the page and follow the page. Like is already there, the follow button is hidden. So right next to, I don't know, there's a blue call to action button. 3 little dots, click those 3 little dots, opens up a sub menu. It allows you to make sure that you're hitting follow the page, which every time that Facebook does an update or they're doing some stuff around there, for some reason it takes all of our Facebook accounts and defaults them back to factory settings, which means people that you have already done that for, you have to do it again if you want to make sure that your notifications are turned on. YouTube subscribers, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Whenever I upload a new video and you are subscribed to my channel, you'll be notified when I go live. I am going to make sure that we are live in the right group, that I can see all of your comments. And let's go to post. A little bit of a broadcast interruption, so it looks like it picked back up again. That's just kind of odd. So let me make sure that I'm seeing it the same way that you guys are. I'm trying to think, because that just throws me off. Because I see my lights flashing and my lights aren't supposed to flash. That usually means that there's a hiccup. That could mean that there is like a little glitch in the internet service, but it looks like we are all good to go. So, what else can you find there? How to clean the grapevine. So I already cleaned my grapevines beforehand, but a lot of people want the tutorial for how to do that. You will find that free on my website. You can also sign up for my free bow making recipe. And if you want to join my private group, it is still open for a little while longer. So you can hop over there and find out all the information about the private group and everything that we're doing in that group. Yeah, isn't that weird, Linda? She's like, you're back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pivot you down. We're going to go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to make sure the light is out of the way so it does not interfere. So let's go over the supplies. and there's a lot of them because I'm not sure we're going to use all of them, but we'll cover the basics. You will need an 18-inch grapevine wreath. You can do it on a 16, you can do it on a 14, you can do it on an oval, you can do it on a square. It's entirely up to you. I'm using an 18-inch, completely round, not the oval grapevine. I got this at Hobby Lobby. So, and I always recommend that you clean it. It just makes it easier for you to add florals. And when you ship this wreath to your client, there won't be as much debris in the box. You know, occasionally you're going to get some, but it should not be like crazy, like what you would get if you're cleaning. I also make sure that I take off any rough edges, that we remove any pine needles, pine branches, pine twigs, things that just stick out and get in the way. Right? Danny said, got interrupted. See, that is just weird. Teresa says, we're having storms in central PA. Hope my internet holds out. Okay, let's go ahead and discuss the rest. So here is the sign that everyone who's following me on Facebook, if you saw this post this morning, this is our sign that we're doing. This is a 10-inch round from Personalize It by Pam. She is on Etsy if you'd like to order your sign from her. Just tell her that Kat said hi, or that you saw her sign on Kat's Creations, so that lets Pam know that you guys are able to see her products when we feature them. So this is going to be our inspiration piece. So with this particular type of sign, you can go whites, you can go creams, you can go ivories, you can go burnt oranges, you can go browns. I would kind of lean away from like your traditional reds and some oranges. There are some, it's like the little bit of the darker brown or darker orange fall palette on this particular design. So you can see that it kind of picks up a little bit of the orangey brown, and that's about as deep, I think, as I would go. So we're going to be featuring that. We are going to be using a lot of florals, but they're basically going to be a lot of, not so much flowers, but leaves, eucalyptus, berries, some roses, some pampas grass, some chenille pumpkins, some pine cones, and some mums. And we're going to possibly add a bow to it. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to go ahead and attach our sign. So I want my sign to kind of sit right here on the outside edge, which is challenging because there is nothing under the middle. So you have to find a pretty good anchor spot, and I like the edge of my sign to match the edge of my wreath. Not everybody does that. Some people just add their sign, boom, right in the middle. Which, if you add it in the middle, you have the teeter-totter thing going on. So how do you stop that? Well, if you put it on the very edge, we can anchor it here. We can anchor it here. And then if we anchor it down here, that will prevent that teeter-totter from happening. It will prevent the sign from falling to the inside. So that is going to be the very first thing that I'm going to do. That, for me, sets the borders for how far my florals will go. So that's why it's important to add some of the basic stuff to your wreath. It also prevents you from having to worry about adding that at the back end. So I am going to be using my Beadsmith 1.5 millimeter metal hole punch. Yes, I did. I don't know how I ate and figured out how to do that, but I made sure that I plugged in my glue gun ahead of time. I'm going to go ahead and add my card to the back. Right now, Pam just adds her information to the back so that we know, hey, where did I order that sign from? But I also want to make sure that I put my business card on the back so that if the customer wants to order a future design, they know where they have made that purchase from. So I'm looking right here, keeping it with the curve of my grapevine. I want to make sure that my anchor point is somewhere in here. So I'm going to take my metal hole punch. I'm going to punch a hole in there. Okay. And then right up here at the top, going to probably go right about there. And I'm going to go ahead and put one in the top. So I've got one on the top, my anchor point there, and then I'm kind of looking. Let's go ahead and put the first two in, and then I can always add the exact location for that third anchor point to stop it from teeter-tottering. You don't need an awful lot of floral wire, but I do prefer the 22 gauge floral wire. I'm just going to build on the back like we do all of our floral wire. Hi, Deanne. The sign is from Personalize It by Pam Vicky. She has an Etsy shop. So that's where you'll find the sign. And this is a 10-inch round. I think she makes it in a 12 and an 8 as well. I like the 10-inch for the 18-inch grapevine. I just think that size-wise it looks good. You're more than welcome. Hi, Jean. Welcome. Okay, so I am just putting about a 1/4 inch on here. If I twist it about 5 times, it gives me about a 1/4 inch margin. So I am going to secure at the bottom first. Okay, making sure everything lines up. Okay, just like that. And I'm looking at, well, where is a good anchor point? So I'm going to go right in. This is why cleaning out your grapevine as well is really important. That was weird. It sounded like I had a deer come in, but it was not. Okay, so I want nice and tight, but I'm only going to do one good twist, just in case I need to move that. Okay, this one's going to kind of go right in the center. And having that 22 gauge floral wire does give it some stability. I'm just trying to make sure I'm avoiding most of those pretty big twigs. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that's on nice and tight. And if I feel like we don't need that other portion, then we won't put an outside piece on there. Like right now, I don't have any teeter-totters going on. That is not going to move any further down. So I'm good to go there. Just want to make sure our sign is straight. And see what I'm saying? You're always going to get something from the bottom of the grapevine. So what I'm thinking is, should we build the bow? Because if you're a beginner making grapevine floral wreaths, it is really easy to get overwhelmed, and then you put in so many florals and you're like, oh no, now I don't have room for a bow. So let's make this as though we are a beginner wreath maker. Meaning the ribbons that I am going to do are going to stay in this color palette. I'm going to do 1.5 inches of this chocolate brown. I am going to do a brown and white. It's like got a gingham, but then it's got a milk chocolate stripe down the middle. This is also reversible. And I think I want to incorporate some of this brown with these floral. It's like a foil leaf foil here. So the first thing that I want to do, because we don't want to go too big, I'm going to set this aside, is I'm going to pull out my Bodabra. I'm going to dovetail my end first, and then I also need to figure out where you're going to put the bow and how long do those tails need to be. Remember, we're doing this from a beginner perspective. So you're going to take your ribbon and you're going to look and see how far do you want those tails to drop. If we keep this even with where our sign falls, I kind of like this as the length of my ribbon. So that means that we are looking at 7.5 inches. So that gives me the basis. So I'm going to twist, place this right on the inside. Since we're only doing 3 ribbons, we're going to go 4.5 inch, a 4, and then a 3.5 for the loop size. So we are going to twist every time we place that ribbon in our Bodaba. Going to bring this right up to the top, and we want to make sure that our ribbon ends right at 4.5 inches. Like I said, we're not going with a big over the top bow. It's kind of like a little accent piece. It's not the star. Okay, I'm sitting right at 5. So let's bring it in to 4.5. And then remember, our length is 7.5 inches. So dovetailing is just bring your wired edges together. You're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point. Okay, so there's one down. Now we're going to do the others. So I think I want to break up this brown with the gingham. I don't know. I'm like debating. I kind of want, like if I don't break that up, then we're going to have chocolate on the outside, but I kind of like this to be on the outside. So I think we're going to go the brown. I know it's going to seem weird. Brown on brown. The foil ribbon, by the way, came from Craft Outlet. This 1.5 inch solid brown is also from Craft Outlet. So we're dovetailing the end. This is kind of a milk chocolate color. And this is going to be 7 inches, so we're going to come down 1/2 inch from the length. We're going to do a 4-inch loop. So you always can bring it back to your 10-inch margin so that when you stretch this out, this should end right on that 4-inch line, which it does. Bring it up and over. I'm right on the 10-inch line again. Bring this out. We are good to go. We want this to end at 7 inches. Go ahead and dovetail that end. And now, so this is what I was saying, is this two-side. You have this on one, and you have the straight, just brown and white. So I'm leaning with the gingham pattern on top. So here we go. We're dovetailing and we're going 6.5 inches for our tail length. And we're only going 3.5 inches for our loop length. This is just a short, cute little bow. Okay, so bring it back to our 10. This is at 4, so I'm going to bring that into 3.5. Do the other side. Bring that back. We're right at 3.5. I'm just going to fix that a little bit. Yep, still 3.5 on the other side. And I want to bring this out so this ends at 6.5. So we did 7.5, 7, and 6.5, I think, right? Let me just double check. Yep. We are good. Alrighty. Let's grab a brown pipe cleaner. This one's weak. Brown pipe cleaner. This way it'll match our grapevine. We're just going to take this and drop this right on the inside. I'm going to hold it at the bottom. Give it a couple twists. Bring our wreath back. And I'm going to line this up first of all, let me just pull the tails down, because then that just makes that process so much easier. Okay. There we go. All our tails are at the bottom. Like it right about there. I'll go ahead and pop my bow in. Try to get that to go in. Kind of like it in conjunction with the sign. Nice and tight. Couple twists. And then we're going to be forever fluffing this, because as we put in our florals, we're going to need to move things out of the way. But we can generally go and fluff for now, so you can get an idea of what that will look like. Here is our foil. And then here it is on the other side. Let's go ahead and pull that one down just a bit. Sometimes when I have a pretty slippery ribbon, they have a tendency sometimes to slide out when I go to pull them. Trying to get the tail to go down and bring this loop up, just like so. So those are the ribbons that are going to be featured in the design for you. So when you're starting off, having your ribbon here, you now know how far you can come under your loops, how far you can come up under your tails, and where your tails are going to lay. So obviously you wouldn't take like a really expensive focal flower and lay that right in here if all your tails are going to do is roll over on top of that. So it helps you to decide where is everything going to get placed. So from here, we are going to start laying in our base florals. So base florals for here, because we're going with more leaves and berries and pine cones and more along the things of nature, we're going to start with laying in some of our fall leaves that kind of stay in this palette. Now this pick is from Hobby Lobby, and it has a whole bunch of different leaves on it, different colors. So I am just going to separate these, because what I notice is that a lot of times they won't, like when they're hooked together, they won't lay flat if I want to put them together. I also do have off camera, which you cannot see, because if I put it on top of my cutting mat, it will warp the mat even if I put a silicone pad over it. I have my 6-inch glue skillet that already has hot glue in it. So I'm going to be dipping into that, and just, we're going to, normally I call it greening the base, which means we're going to put in all of our base greenery. In this case, all of our base brownery. So we're just going to lay in everything that is going to be under everything else, because it's a little harder to get under there and grab them, you know, when you already have all the other stuff on top. So just like these, I'm just going to kind of come in, and you're just going to see me randomly place these. I'm going to try to pick up my glue threads as I go and just keep recycling them back into that glue skillet if I can. Let's see if we can get some more orange. So we'll grab the orange. And for me, making a fall floral wreath like this is very relaxing. I like to take my time and do it. My whole goal is not about speed and how quickly I can get it done. But on YouTube, if you don't like to watch cattling in every single one of these leaves, you can just fast forward to the next part of the video, which will probably be me adding whatever it is that's going to be next. So you don't have to watch the whole thing. So just a bunch of different colors. Like I said, the only reason we're doing this first is it's because it's easier to do now than it is when you have all the other stuff on top of it. So like I said, we can go under our bow. You always want to make sure you get the sides because as this hangs on your door, you're going to see underneath here. You don't kind of want to stop. You want to keep on going, if at all possible. So you're seeing that I'm just kind of scattering the leaves a little bit here and there. I'm going to go under my bow. Same thing, same purpose. And like I said, we're going to end up fluffing that so many more times. Sometimes we can't work things where we'd like them to be because of branches. But I'm trying to get a good, color representation for like all the oranges, all the browns, all the golds. I like these ones because they kind of have a little bit of a foil tint to them. So I'm going to go right here. And I'm trying to make sure that I cut the little nodules off that make them, part of the pick. This way they're easier to kind of put on the inside. Just like these. Okay, so I think I'm happy with those. So that is kind of laying in our base leaves. We have a few more if we want to add them later. Then what I'm going to do is, eucalyptus comes in a ton of different colors. When you're working with florals, you want to make sure that you stay in the same tone for the season, meaning that you wouldn't want to put bright green in this design. You want something muted, like an avocado or an olive color. So Hobby Lobby now has these in their fall section. So it's kind of like, it's the green eucalyptus, but it's starting to develop its fall colors. It kind of has a little bit of a yellowy brown tint to it. You could definitely use those, but I want to go further into fall. So my further into fall takes it into this color palette, which is more of the browns and beiges. And you can get this pick from Greenery Market. Greenery Market has amazing florals and your stems. So I've cut these down into some manageable pieces. And so we're going to start to lay in our eucalyptus. Now these are they have a central wire that goes down into the center, but if you ever find some of your floral is just, I really wish it would lay here and I don't want to glue it, there's this stuff called binding wire. It's like basically wire covered in paper that you can take and you can wrap it around one of your grapevines branches, and I can pull this piece down to where I'd like it to wind up and just scoot that along. And I'm going to take my wire, I have it wrapped around there, just a nice little simple twist, remove that and tuck that back down, and then it keeps my greenery in place without me having to come back in and add in some additional floral. So I'm going to kind of set this tone right here. So as you see, I've got this branch here. It's a little hard for me to try to figure out how can I work that green under there. I can't really feed that underneath. So this is going to be one of those examples where binding wire is going to help keep that in place for me, so that I can get this to lay right where I want it to. So just cut a piece of the binding wire off. I'm going to go around this branch. And then I'm going to pull that piece of eucalyptus over where I couldn't feed it underneath. Give it a couple twists and then just cut the rest off. Cut that underneath. And then we are good to go there. And then that kind of helps hold that in place. I'm going to put a couple more pieces in. So probably one more top, one more bottom, meaning one more up here, one more down here. What I like to do is, so that the pick is not quite so elongated, is I like to push everything up to make it more full, so that we can actually come in and lay that in here like so. We don't need a pick that big. And I'm going to come in right about here and just go ahead and lay this in. Make sure that all of my pieces wind up where I want. Could use a piece of binding wire there to kind of bring back the middle section back down to where I want it to be. So it's easier just to place it underneath and then bring back the piece you want to attach, which is just the green piece. Couple twists and remove the excess. And so we have that there. And now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to push this up so we have a more full pick, because you can see that this the pick is kind of falling towards the front. I'm going to flip it so that that works to my advantage to bring that back over here. And then I'm just going to lay that right in. So now those will work to my advantage. Small piece of binding wire to get that down to this level to curb that wayward center. You can try to bend it forward, but a lot of times, you want it to stay where you have it laying in there. So there is that. So we've laid in base eucalyptus. Okay. Now Hobby Lobby also has these smaller picks. So this is kind of, let's see if we can do that so you guys can see this. It's kind of like eucalyptus that's almost really hit the fall tones. It's got a little bit of the avocado color, but a lot of reds and a lot of golds. So this is actually going to sit right in between these. So I need to remove the price tag. We don't need a stem quite that long. This is actually going to sit right underneath this piece here, and it's going to kind of take some of that fall color and pull it forward, but also keep some of the olive avocado tones right into this design. And then just go ahead and lay that whatever way you want. So you can see now we've brought that in. I'm going to do the same right in here. This is going to lay right in here, a little bit underneath. So just right into the center, just like so. And then that becomes a really nice filler for that. So we have those two. Debbie says, could you let me know when you go live? I'm following you, but I don't get notifications. Debbie, on Facebook, make sure you've liked my page and are following. So there's 3 little dots right next to a little blue button on my page. When you click on those dots, it'll open up a submenu. Make sure following is highlighted. If it's not, click on that box and then you should be notified. I know Facebook just constantly keeps doing updates, and when they do, things get pushed back to default status. I've got an overhead light that's just driving me crazy. All right, so these are the little funny pine cone things that I was telling you that Hobby Lobby has. They're kind of brown, a tan, and a little bit of a yellow color. These are all in their fall seasonal section. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the tag because we're going to be adding that. No one wants to see the yellow or the bright orange that's in there. Okay, there we go. And this comes with a couple of different picks, so we can put these in different bunches. So I'm going to break these into smaller bunches and place these where I would like. So I kind of like a little, I call it feathering the edges. It kind of takes this blunt edge right here and it kind of softens it. So I'm looking for ones that have 3. Let me grab the other one because there's one right here so we can have a matching set. And I'm going to do the same thing right here. We're just going to take this and kind of tuck this right up in here. It'll kind of almost meet our sign. Just going to slide that right underneath so that we have a nice feathered edge. I'm going to go ahead and cut these 2 down so that we have them in different quantities so that I can use them whatever way I want. So I'm going to kind of come in here underneath and just kind of stick a couple on the outside edge. And I'm going to take a couple and stick it on the inside edge. Just like that. So I'm taking one whole pick. I want here, here, here. I'm going to come back out here with this one. So a little bit to the outside here. And then I have one more piece. And I think, let's see, we did here, 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 here. Technically it should go under here. So let's just stick it right under there. Even though that's going to be covered, somebody could fluff the bow much differently. And I don't want them to lift that up and find out there is nothing on the other side. So again, these are in the fall seasonal section. So I'm just trimming down our picks into little manageable pieces that we can stick in and glue. And now we're going to do the one up here. So we had here, I'm going to go to the outside. Okay. I'm going to go with more yellow right here on the inside. And we want here, here, here. Right there. We'll bring some yellow to the outside right in here. And then I'm going to grab these and we're going to the outside just underneath the very top part of our bow. Okay, so without using the word greenery, we have greened or browned our base, which means that we have added in all of our background colors, all the branches, all the leaves, all the things. So now we can come in and we can start to pop the colors that we're going to be using in this wreath, which I'm going to start with Mini Mums, and these are from the Dollar Tree. I love these because I like all the little details that they put in them, like the little curlicues that are on here. And we're just going to start tucking these in. And I'm going to kind of come in here. And just place that inside. So now we're going to bring in all of our florals, because it would be so hard to put the florals in after the fact, after we've already done all that. Can you imagine that? I'm just going to kind of have this one. Let's cut down that stem a little bit more. Kind of tuck this one in. Let's see. A little ways. Kind of want it like up in here is where I'm feeling it. So if I feel it like that, now I need to figure out, okay, how can I get it to go in there like that? So a lot of times it's just taking a moment and looking at, you know, what is my path? I got to move a leaf. Okay, I like that. So I found an entry point. So now I can kind of place that where I want it to be. So we're kind of softening those colors with a little bit of the creams. And I want to do that down here as well. Make sure we've got all of our glue removed. And see, I'm feeling like it needs to be kind of like, sometimes they create such a big stem. And I don't need them quite that long. Let me see. Like I want it like right in here. So I am going to kind of go over and under a few things so that I can pull that in. And let's grab another one, push everything to the top. Kind of want this one to kind of fall. Sometimes you just have to move some of your stuff, like right here on the little bit of the outside. And as you notice, I pulled, what was it? I'm starting with smaller florals going out. So if you noticed, everything has been very small, very minute, very thin here. And I've gone bigger as I've gotten towards the bow. So let's go ahead and remove this. And I'm going to. It's amazing what happens when you pick things up that were in the way. To where, hey, if I want my florals to be laying a certain way, I'm going to pop those in. So this is kind of where we have it. I'll kind of hold it like that for you. Let's go ahead and add 2 more pieces. I'm going to look for the ones that have the little curly cues on the end. 1 for the top, 1 for the bottom. And that should be enough. And I kind of want those. We already have 1 to the inside and I have 1 to the outside. I'm going to kind of put this one without the curly cue kind of in over here a bit. Like I want it. Sometimes there's, like I said, a branch we have to work around. I like that there. So just like if you're not sure where you want to place your florals, start moving them around in a general place. And if it winds up where you have, you know, oh, if I put it right here where I have my finger, that's where I want it to lay, then that's how you can get it to go there without putting the glue there first. So here, I kind of want these ones, I think, to kind of come in a little bit. There's always a longer one and a shorter one. And I'm just looking at where do I want those to fall. Kind of like right there, even though I have the other ones over here. That just, to me, seems like there's just too much going on to the outside. So we're just going to commit and put this right on the inside. And then I will take and move things so that they wind up where I want them to be. Just like that. Okay, those are all in. So we've added minimums. Okay, and like I said, I'm not going to worry about the bow because we could fix the bow for days. We are also going to come in with this stuff. I don't know why I like it. It's called Sweet Daisy. So this is like daisies in the fall. And so I want to take a couple of these sprigs and I want to be able to put them where I want them to be. So we'll do 1 for the bottom. There's 1 for the top. And so they just kind of add these little bit of a dimension that maybe you hadn't really thought of before. So I want these ones to come back a bit to kind of lay in just before the others. So that's going to go in pretty far. So again, maneuver things so that things lay where you want them to. Kind of like that little just odd pop of florals right there. I want one of these is small. Okay, so there's 1 with just I am praying I didn't get into the hummingbird stuck in here. In my shop, because when I open my doors, the hummingbirds like to come in and hang out. But I love those flowers. There's just something about them. I do have a bird stuck in here, but as soon as I open the garage door, he'll go out. Okay, same thing. Pivoting this, just going to open up and lay that where I want them to go. And then we're going to add this piece to the bottom. it is definitely filled full of all the colors of fall. Just like that. So we've added some of our daisies. Now, you might be thinking, okay, well, what is she going to do that's going to be big? Because she talked about all the small stuff, right? Hi, little bird. We're going to add some pumpkins, some chenille pumpkins. I have two different colors. I have a cream, and they're squishy. So you'll find these at Hobby Lobby. We're going to do we'll do one high and one is going to be low. Got to remove all the things sticker wise. Okay, so we can go beige at the bottom. We could do tan up here. So we're going to have one here, and then one's going to kind of go here. And those are going to be our main pieces. I'm going to cut the ends of these off. I'm trying to think, like, do I want this one here and this one here? I feel like I need this one up here. I don't know why. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is going to be my main focal. So you're going to see I'm going to bring that really close to our bow. And then I'm just going to move this one. Same thing. We're going to pull this one in right about here. So we have a nice little, they're like sweater pumpkins. It's like the perfect way to think of them. So I didn't want it to go too far, but I want it to nestle right up against these. So we've got our two pumpkins added. And now we're going to come in and add some fun fillers, some other florals. Poor little bird. He's like having a fit because he can't get out. The doors are open. He got himself in. He's got to figure out a way to get himself out. So I have some mini burnt orange roses. So I'm going to come in here like this, and we're going to add like the mini rose right about there. It's always so frustrating when you can get them in and then you have to pull them out to glue them. So there is one. And I'm going to put another one at the top. These are foam roses that came in a box of assorted fall flowers. So if you need assistance in picking out the right color florals, you can get an entire box filled with something called like a fall mix. And what that is a ton of different florals. It looks like, let's see, here's the new box. It comes like this, and it comes with all kinds of florals that you can use. There's some roses, there's some ranunculus, some mums, some berries, some picks, all kinds of stuff. So I have one of these that is in a very different box. And it also has these kind of almost like a chrysanthemum. So I am going to move this to the side, and this is going to go, let me go ahead and trim this down. This is kind of going to go just like this. It's going to go right next to the pumpkin, but kind of nestled underneath. This one is going to do the same, but it's going to go on the opposite side. So this one's going to kind of go, trying to get that in. There we go. Kind of like that. So we have some mums. Now I do have my glue gun on, so what I can do is just attach that with a little bit of glue instead of having to pull that all the way back, so that those are in place. And I know our bow is a disaster at this point. You're like, is there a bow even in there? Yes, there is. And it'll look so pretty once it's all done. Just like so. Okay, still working on it. All right, we're gonna add a couple more roses. I have like a yellow, kind of like it's a fall color, and I'm kind of feeling like that needs to be feeling like you're right about in here. Like right, I don't want it like this one. I want them to not be straight forward center. I want them either leaning in or leaning out. This one can lean out, that will lean in. Okay, that one is all set for there. What do you guys think so far? And let's see, we need another one of those really pretty roses. That's not the color. I do have one here. And I'm feeling like, I don't know if I want chocolate right in here. I like that chocolate right there. Oh, that looks so pretty. So I am going to attach a stem to the bottom of this, because some of the roses don't have heads. So I really like that look all nestled in here. Look how pretty. It's just all chocolates and burnt oranges, and for me, this is what I love about fall. This is all about the colors of fall a little later into the fall, like not when they're oranges and yellows and browns, but more like they are browns, a little bit of a golden red. So I'm going to take this one because I have a pretty big gap right here, and I'm going to go ahead and tuck that one in right there. And now it's time for just a little bit of filler, because sometimes when you're looking at it, there's like little pieces here and there where you're like, I just wish it had a little something, you know, like maybe back in here. So we have berries, and we have some pampas grass, and we have some acorns you can add. I'm going to add in some pampas grass, and I will put my affiliate link for the box of assorted florals when this goes to replay. So if you're on Facebook, it'll be once it's on replay status. So this is the little bit of pampas grass. I'm going to take a couple pieces of this. This is actually dried pampas grass. And we're going to give it some dimension so that we have things that kind of, I'm looking for ones with a little bit stiffer stems at the end, like this one. So we can just take these, and we're just going to have, trying to get that one to go back under, just little pieces of something different. We can have a piece up here in the front, just for added texture. this is where now it gets to be fun for me because it's all about the details. So adding some berries. Just like that. It'll just kind of soften up that look a bit. Kind of add one right in here, right underneath that rose. And now we'll take it to the top and start adding some up here. Add some to the sides. Do you hear that little whistle thing? It's this little bird that's stuck in here. Poor thing. We'll get him out here in a second. That one stem was a tad too long. Wouldn't go in any further. Need some glue on the end. Okay. So we have one there. Let's go ahead and have one right about here. So it'll be just coming off and out of our bow. And that will do it for the pampas grass. Let's set that aside. Let's come in and add, let's see if the berries will work. So this is a new one for Hobby Lobby this year. They have these fall berries that are in brown, tan, and cream. And I'm always about giving them some movement and some life, so that we can have just something different. So this is going to kind of go right inside. Right up here. And there's, I want to say these, all their fall picks are 40% off right now. But it's imperative that we give them some movement and not just cut them off the ends, so that they can have they just have a different look, a different texture, a different height. And I'm going to try to do one pick at the top and one pick at the bottom. My flower selection brings out the sign. You know what's so funny, Janie, is I could have sworn that I had whatchamacallit, white sunflowers, and I thought for sure I had like really big, like mini white sunflowers with the black centers, and I could have sworn that I had a big one. And I do have one big one, but I was like, I can't just put the one in. It's just, it needs companions. So that's why I'm like, okay, there's a couple more of these. So bending them all back. Kind of just making nice little bundles. So far I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5. So you get 6 little picks of like 5 berries each on them. So again, I'm just kind of placing them a little willy-nilly under the bow, in between some of the roses, next to some of the Pampas grass. We'll go ahead and put one here in the center, down in here, so we can have some of those berries. And then of course, it wouldn't be fun if we didn't have a challenge to get the last pick off. So let's get this one going. And I want to keep this one to the top. So I'm kind of thinking maybe in here somewhere. Maybe before the rose. Kind of trying to get the main portion of what I want in there. And then we'll bend our rose underneath. Okay, so there's the top. Top is finished. We're just going to add the berries to the bottom, and then we'll be finished. And then it's up to you. You can come in if you wanted to add more minimums. You could see, and here's the one sunflower I had that was my inspiration. That would have been really cute to fix in here, but I need another one. I couldn't just do one. That would just look weird. So I opted to go with more of a burnt umber look with my design. So, and then I'm trying to remove all my glue threads, because then once we put it up on the door, on a black door, it's going to look amazing. Because it's going to really pop. Although it would look great on a white door too. Okay, so I'm just separating and pulling these down and snipping it off. Sometimes you have to pull them a little bit more, otherwise you'll cut too much off and then your berries unwind. So just kind of give them some movement. I'm going to tuck this one in right behind my rose so we can have a little something kind of popping out. We have this one over here. Okay, I think we have 3 more. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there's that one. I've got 1 on the outside, and then 1's going up by our bow. So, like I said, if you are interested in this wreath, it is listed for sale. It's on my website now, and all it has on it is the sign, because we didn't know what the end product would look like until we finished it. And this is a one and done. Donkey's tail. Oh, you forgot to set the alarm again, Joan? No worries. We're just about finished. We are just about done making our fall wreath for 2024. I want to pull this one up. Okay, that's going to go there. This is going to go here. And I need one small thing. I think I'm going to end up putting let me see. I want to put something right in here, and I think these minimums will work because it just feels hollow there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're just like, it needs something. I don't know what. Does it need a big thing, a little thing, a small thing? Okay, we are all set. Let's get this up on the door so you can see what the finished look looks like. There is our finished Hello Fall. It is literally everything I could possibly throw at you. That is all about fall. Actually, I'm adding a couple little acorns. Hold on. Because sometimes you have a hole. And so sometimes you can just take things like little pine cones, and if you have little holes, we can just tuck little acorns in. Okay, I'm going to show you. Hold on. Whoop. Alrighty. Full-size door. This is a 36-inch door. I'm going to go ahead and take our scarecrow off. Let him down. You ready to see this? It's gonna look amazing on the door. Okay, here it is. Whoop. And then, because it's a black door, I can literally see every little glue thread on here that needs to be removed. But what do you guys think? This is the first of fall for 2024. This is chenille pumpkins. It's all the fall florals. It's berries, pine cones, acorns, pampas grass, sweet daisies, mums, fall maple leaves. Forgot to address those as such. They are maple leaves. What do I think? Oops, hold on a second. There we go. What do you guys think? I'm going to zoom in on that so you can see it. So, hang tight. I don't want to cut it off. I think, and our bird left, by the way. So, we're good there. So, yeah, that is fall for the beginning of 2024. And a lot of, like I said, the florals you can supplement with, if budget is an issue, you'd be surprised at the florals that you could find at Walmart. You could add white sunflowers, like somebody here had suggested. Oh, right, Cheryl, cinnamon sticks. You can add some scent factors to this. The fact that we have the chenille pumpkins kind of tucked in, if you wanted to and you wanted to make it scented, you could add some cinnamon or pumpkin spice essential oils to those, or just tuck a cotton ball and just kind of tuck it in there, and then you can awaken that the things that you love about fall, like cinnamon and all the things. Okay, so we have a new design again coming on Thursday. Hi, little bird, he's back. So I hope you guys will come back and join me Thursday and see what we're going to be making there. I'm trying to do for the month of August a lot of wreaths on a budget. So I showed you this one so that you could make something very similar using things found at the Dollar Tree, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, things of that nature, like the affiliate link for the flower boxes. I think you get, I want to say there's 20 different floral things in there. There's like greenery, there's berries, there's all kinds of stuff. It's not just florals, but it's like all coordinated, that if you wanted to, you could literally take everything out of the box, put it in a floral arrangement, and all your colors are mixed in and put together. So I will link those once this goes to replay. YouTube subscribers, if you were looking at this from your mobile phone, because I always get this question, it's not in the description box. There's a description box right below this video. If you click see more, it'll open up the box and you can get those links for the florals and the pampas grass. But most of this stuff came from the Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. So I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I love this for fall. It totally sets the tone for me. I'm hoping that cooler weather's coming. And thanks for joining me today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.